Alright lads, and welcome back to another Fury Warrior Mythic commentary video. This time is going to be for the Antoran High Command in Antorus the Burning Throne on Mythic difficulty. This is the third boss, and the purpose of this video is really to try and give you an idea of how I approach the fight from a progression standpoint, any tips you can get, you know, what legendaries I used, and kind of the reasons for the decisions I've made in gearing and kind of approach to the fight. So, talent selection, I'm going to be going for, you know, a sustained, heavy AoE build. So that's going to be War Machine, Double Time, Wrecking Ball, Bounding Stride, Frothing Berserker, Bloodbath, and Reckless Abandon. I've chosen not to go with Carnage because there's quite a few opportunities where Frothing Berserker really does pop off and get you some big damage. And there is a pod where there are very few ads. You know, you get some bats, etc. on the third pod, but you don't get any consistent reinforcement spawning. So I feel like Carnage wouldn't have as much value there as Frothing Berserker. I've gone for Wrecking Ball, again for the same reasons, kind of. There is pretty constant AoE cleave apart from one of the pods. So Wrecking Ball is really just, it's hitting something every time. Almost every time you get a proc, you can hit something, which is fantastic. You could potentially make a case for using Avatar. I'm sure you can log well with Avatar. Like I said, there's good opportunities where there's almost like six ads up at some point that Avatar would get you good value on. However, I just felt that Wrecking Ball was the one for us. I don't know, maybe you've got a raid group that's got really strong ranged and they're really taking care of the ads, but for us, it worked out good. And of course, Bloodbath is going to do fantastically on this. It excels in AoE, whereas previously when we had Inner Rage, you typically don't Raging Blow during AoE, so Bloodbath is a really good strong talent here. Trinket selection, I'm going for Umbral Moonglaives and Convergence of Fates. Umbral Moonglaives, there's so many opportunities to get good value out of this trinket, and Convergence of Fates is, you know, best in slot trinket, resets Battlecry, etc, etc. Same story. Can't really go over that one too much more. Legendary selection, I'm going to go for Valanjar Berserkers, the legs, and Legentis' Vertebrae, the Whirlwind Belt. I'm going for the Whirlwind Belt because, like I said earlier, there are quite consistently adds to Whirlwind, at least 3 or more. Same reason why I've taken Wrecking Ball, so you should get some good value out of that. And I've gone for the legs as opposed to the helm because I just have a decent offset piece for the helm, whereas the legs, I don't have anything decently viable. And typically over a long average, the legs will work out better for you rage-wise. So on pull, I'm actually going to be using a Prolonged Power as a pre-pot, and I'm not going to be using my cooldowns on the pull because we get a wave of ads in about 10 seconds or so. Again, that's why I'm using Prolonged Power. Prolonged Power is stronger on AoE, and as I'm not popping cooldowns at the beginning, an Old War is really just going to be really lackluster in damage. So the ads are spawned, so I'm going to be Whirlwinding first, Battlecry, then Rampage to make sure I get a cleaved Rampage, Odin's Fury, Whirlwind, Rampage, and then basically it's going to be a case of just pretty much whirlwinding, lots of whirlwinding. You've got to keep Bloodthirst on cooldown, filling the empty GCDs with Whirlwind if there's ads to hit, and then making sure to Whirlwind before you Rampage at 100 rage to make sure that you cleave your 2-piece, and moving out with the grenade, and then just running back in again. And that's largely going to be the sum of this fight, is holding Battlecry for when ads spawn, and then just going ham on the ads, making sure to get Odin's Fury within the Battlecry window there. And just, I mean, you're very rarely doing your single target rotation. You're only going to be like weaving in a Raging Blow every now and again, or a Fury Slash possibly. But, you know, 90% of the time, there's going to be something to Whirlwind. And your 2 target, 3 target, 4 target is all the same until you get to something like 7 or 8 targets, which is where you just spam Whirlwind. But that never really happens here. Obviously trying to avoid the mines there, but I've managed to hit one anyway, which is a bit rubbish of me, but not the end of the world. And that was I almost charged back in too soon there without the grenade going off. It almost looks like I meant to do it. I didn't. And it's actually worked out quite well because it means I've held my Battlecry. And I'm actually going to hold it for a second here because we get a big wave of ads spawning soon. And I think I'm also going to use my second pot to get some good damage off because we've got some ads from the other side. So just going to wait for the ads to spawn, drop my glaives, second pot, and then big cooldowns on them. And you see I've got loads of damage here. In fact, I've got aggro and everything, but you see I've just shot up on the meters there. And then being sure to get those bats on the left. If the bats get cast off, it knocks out whoever is in the pod. So they absolutely must not get their cast off. And you see that one almost did, so I've hard to switch to the side. The bats on the right hand side there are kind of risky for me to hit because of the cleave from the tank. which is why you typically not see me go over there unless I have to. And just keeping up the single target rotation when there's nothing else there. But there's a bat, and then more ads, battle cries come off cooldown. This is why Conversions of Fates has such fantastic value, is because you have a battle cry and a bloodbath for almost every single wave, which is just, it's just really good. As you can see, me and Murph are even beating the boomies so far in this fight. Just keeping the damage going, keeping Bloodthirst on cooldown, Whirlwinding in between, and making sure to have me cleaver before I rampage. Again, killing those ads, but being sure to stay inside the dome. And the boss is about to transition, and I've got a shock grenade there, so I need to drop that first, making sure I target something to charge back in. So the boss is moved, but I'm going to stay on the ads because I've popped cooldowns, and you'll get a nice Odin's Fury on 3 of the mobs there, just Whirlwinding them as I move off to get to the next boss position, because there's going to be a fail shield emitter going up soon, which I'll need to be under. And really, the caster is the most dangerous out of the ads, so as long as that dies before I move over, I'm not too worried about leaving the shock troopers alive. Again, just cleaving the bats. The good thing with the bats is with good boss positioning, they can be in range of your Whirlwind without having to come off the main target. It's only on the opposite side there on the left where it's a little bit close to being out of range. Now with this position, there's not many ads apart from the bats, so I'm not going to use glaives here, because I know that if I use glaives here, it's not going to be up for the next pod where I know there's going to be ads. I'm going to get tons more value, so I'm just going to be using Battle Cry and Odin's Fury here. Unfortunately, I've not had, and fortunately, I mean not unfortunately, I've not had many shock grenades on the second phase. It is the single target phase, so I guess if you're going to get shock grenades, you want to hope that your RNG gives you on this part, because you want to be AoEing ads and such. The build that we've gone for with talents is not very strong for single target really, compared to what's other available with Avatar and such. I'm actually going to move across and take care of those bats. Be careful of the mines, because you can see them in melee. They're quite hard to see sometimes because there's a lot of green on green here. So I've hard to switch to those bats to make sure they don't get cast off and the boss is moved. So I'm going to leap over, and you can leap over bombs as well. I haven't really had to here. On the second pod, you can be in a position where you get a shock grenade, and then you have to get into the shield quite soon, so a charge or a leap is really good for save there. And I've got the shock grenade there when the ads have spawned, which is not ideal. So what I think I end up doing actually is deciding that I'm going to save my cooldowns, or I end up using them whilst these are on low HP, but I think I've probably done the right thing here and just held them to capitalize on the next pack. I felt that if I used Battle Cry, it wouldn't be up for the next one, and if I use glaives, then again, they're only hitting, you know, 2 ads on low HP. I can get a lot more damage out. I've got shock grenade again, which is not ideal, but I think I'll make it back in time here to get a decent enough bit of damage. But unfortunate with the amount of like shock grenades and the timings of them. Then, had I not got those two, it would have been, you know, a really nice amount of damage. Now we're at the conflicting part where you can execute, but you don't have the execute ring, so you're going to have poor uptime on enrage and generally rubbish stacks. So what you'll see me doing is getting Juggernaut stacks in between ad phases, but prioritizing generally to get some cleaved rampages and Odin Furies on the ads, but I will be executing in between to try and keep Juggernaut going and keep that single target going, and making sure to clip the ads before they die so that you get War Machine procs. I think I've messed up that Juggernaut there again. What I should have done is charge back in. I think I was spamming it, but I maybe charged too close or too far away, and I just didn't make it in time to refresh my stacks. So I'm going to completely forego any more Juggernaut prioritization really, and just focus on AoEing the ads, as that maintained me pretty good damage before, and it can maintain me damage again. And really, this is an ad management fight. As long as you keep the ads under control, keep the bats dead, the boss will fall over. There's no real kind of hard timer on, we have to push its last 20% quicker. I think I will start executing again towards the end just to finish it off, but yeah, just getting some Juggernaut stacks there towards the end. But you know, it's such measly damage with AoE talents and no ring and such. And I've got shock grenade on my last battle cry there, but I've used it anyway because the boss is almost dead. There's no point in holding it till I go back in. So yeah, that's the fight. I did pretty good there. I think, yeah, 2.76. It could have been better if I hadn't kind of got shafted, getting those shot grenades on the, the second time around on the first pod. But you're gonna get it occasionally and get unlucky. Maybe you just pop battle cry and shot grenade goes off. But key is really just keeping uptime on your AoE rotation, so bloodthirst on cooldown, whirlwinding in between, and obviously having the 2 and the 4 piece helps greatly here. I don't have the 4 piece yet, I've just got the 2 piece, but having the whirlwind belt, there's always targets to hit. Wrecking ball, it's always targets to hit once it procs and such. I hope you picked up some tips maybe from that encounter. You can catch me on my stream on Coburn_25, but until then, I will catch you on the next one, which should be Portal Keeper Hasabel. Cheers.